They're coming back with another live. We have a lot to talk about in this one here this afternoon, man. There's a lot of information coming out of Indianapolis in regards to Caitlin Clark, this injury, in regards to her mom's reaction to being courtside. We got a fan speaking about that. We also have USA Network speaking about the fines that is headed to the Indiana Fever way. Guys, definitely like this video, hype this video, subscribe to the tribe if you guys have not done so already. And we finna jump right into this thing, man. So if you guys don't know, it was reported yesterday, right before the game, man, that Caitlin Clark was suffering from some type of back injury. Now, two different reports came out. Two different reports came out before this Fever basketball game. Two eerie reports. One came out from Chloe Peterson, and one came out from Scott Agnes. Now, we're about to read what Scott said. So Scott said this yesterday, right? So Scott Agnes did. Now, I believe Scott was one of the first people to report on this. I believe Scott actually dropped his before before Chloe Peterson did. So we finna get ready to react to this because I want to kind of build you guys up a storyline here and how we got to this point with them. Now Caitlin got this other injury and so on and so forth. So Scott Agnes dropped this yesterday. He stated Fever guard Caitlin Clark will not play tonight versus Portland Fire. I'm told is part of a strategic management plan for the season. Tonight is the Fever's fourth home game. Now, that's what Scott said. Scott said it was initially a strategic management plan. To me, it looked like Scott may be working for Stephanie White now, bro. Because this was the initial report. So when the report had first came out, I think Scott might have said this because he knew the Indiana Fever was facing fines. He couldn't say she was hurt. He couldn't say that she was dealing with an injury because we later found out from USA Network, which I'm going to play that clip that came out during halftime. If you guys might not have synced that clip yesterday from USA Network. This is what Scott originally said. Why did Scott say this? I believe Scott said this to cover Stephanie White. You can't sit up here and not tell me he didn't say this to cover Stephanie White. I am totally convinced. I am convinced Scott said this to cover his pal, his buddy, his ace coon boon goon. He said this to make sure Stephanie White wouldn't get fined. But before being known to Scott, Scott didn't know that Stephanie White was going to do two press conferences contradicting everything you just said. Stephanie White did a pregame press conference and she did a post-game press conference. See, everybody has been reacting to the post-game press conference, but Stephanie White had a pregame press conference before the game started. And she contradicted herself then. Then she did it again at the end of the game. Now, let's go to the other half of this story. Chloe Peterson of the Indy Star tweeted this out yesterday. So Chloe stated, this is what Chloe stated. We got to remember, both of them are in Indiana. Chloe's in Indiana and Scott Agnes is in Indiana. Both of these two reporters have media credentials appointed to them from the WNBA and the Indiana Fever. Now, Chloe came out and said Caitlin Clark has been ruled out with a back injury for tonight's game after the Fever's pregame walkthrough. She was not on the injury report yesterday. That's what Chloe said. So Chloe just came out and said what it is. Now, I'm still 50-50, me personally, on if she's hurt or not. And I'll tell y'all why I'm 50-50. Now, I'm not finna get on here and say that Caitlin Clark not hurt when she very much could be hurt or dealing with some type of injury. But I'm not 100% sold on Caitlin Clark being hurt. You guys get what I'm saying? I'm not 100% sold on her being hurt right now because we know what happened the game before. There was drama that took place on the court the game before where Caitlin Clark had exchanged word with Breon January, where Caitlin Clark snatched her arm away from Stephanie White. Now, all of a sudden, later, Caitlin's hurt. Hold up, wait a minute. Now, all of these different things happen, and then now, all of a sudden, Caitlin's hurt. Something's not adding up here. Either she hurt, or y'all mad because y'all got embarrassed on the biggest stage by the media and the content creators. Because we all know that situation between Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark made national news. I believe the New York Post might have did a story on it. I don't know 100%, but I believe they definitely might have did a story on that. Now, going back to what Scott said, see, Scott is a plant at this point. I am convinced Scott is a plant because Scott made it his business to not say she was hurt. Because judging by the rules, right? By the WNBA rules, right? Let's read this real quick. Let's read this. WNBA teams must report information concerning injuries, illness, other medical conditions, or rest for all WNBA games by 5 p.m. local time. That's policy. That's policy before fines are handed down to that set WNBA team, that set organization. You know, but then we all missed this too. Caitlin Clark, see, look, this right here could be another thing. Caitlin Clark went on Aaliyah Boston podcast and stated some cryptic messages. Caitlin Clark, now, I did not report on this yesterday. I didn't report on that podcast episode that Caitlin Clark had with Aaliyah Boston. I missed this part. I can admit it. I missed this part where Caitlin Clark spoke about the contract. Now, we know that podcast came out yesterday. This podcast post moves came out yesterday from Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark talking to Candace Parker. See, this whole thing, we got to dissect all of the elements in here. But I'm not going to say that she's not hurt. We're not going to say that because she very much could be. But I find it very spooky that we see Caitlin Clark snatch her arm away. We see Scott Agnes moving funny on this damn Twitter. We see Chloe Peterson saying something totally different. We see Caitlin Clark parents not knowing that she wasn't going to play. And we ain't even got to that yet. We ain't even got to the Caitlin Clark parents part. We going to get to the Caitlin Clark mom part after we talk about this part. Because there is a lot of moving factors in this Caitlin Clark not playing thing. That's why I had to do a live. because it's so many moving factors and so many moving pieces. It'd be 10 videos. No, we're going to come here in the congregation together to dissect it all. Somebody said Caitlin Clark dad was complaining. We're going to dissect it all because that's how many moving pieces it is that is going on within this franchise. Now, if this was Caitlin Clark on Post Moves speaking to Aaliyah Boston about her contract extension. Listen to what Caitlin Clark said right here, guys.
Because she's
epic. She has to.
Whatever.
She's on that till 2029. 2029.
Yeah,
Aren't
no,
you
that's
with
what
the
I'm
Fever till
saying.
2029?
Hey, I love playing with you.
Yeah, well, I'm only signed till
Yeah. Don't worry about that.
well, next year.
Don't worry.
Now, did y'all catch what Caitlin Clark said? She's epic. She's epic. You're signed here until 2029. I'm only signed here for another year. You guys caught that at that end? For those of you guys who might have missed it, listen to what Cece said.
Yeah, well, I'm only signed till
Yeah. Don't worry about that.
well, next year.
Don't worry.
And she gave a little smirk at the end of her saying that I'm only signed here until next year. Could this also allegedly be a reason why Caitlin Clark was benched, allegedly? See, no one's talking about this interview. Came out the same day. We're going to get to Caitlin Clark mom shortly. I'm trying to paint a picture. We're moving in segments today. I'm doing this live in segments. So I'm trying to paint a picture for you guys. Now, Caitlin Clark said that yesterday. Now, the Indiana Fever also had this injury report come out. They also had this injury report come out the day before this game. See? Now, this injury report came out Tuesday, right? So if this injury report came out Tuesday, y'all damn sure knew Caitlin Clark wasn't hurt Thursday. Because if y'all knew she was hurt or woke up with stiffness, so if Caitlin Clark woke up with stiffness, like they said, how the hell do we get here? Make it make sense. I'm confused. Make it make sense. Because as of right now, the Indiana Fever is not making a whole lot of sense. Now, Caitlin Clark's parents was courtside at this game. They definitely was. Caitlin Clark went over to her mom courtside at this game. Now, since y'all want to jump into the parents part, let's jump into the parents part. So, Caitlin Clark mom, before I get into this fan that was right next to him, Caitlin Clark sent to her mom at this game, right? Let's find it. Because Caitlin Clark mom, let me see. Caitlin Clark whispered something in her mom's ear. Here we go. So, this was at the game, right? This was at the game yesterday. Caitlin Clark had a lot of family members coming to this game. This is the only reason I feel like they're possibly lying. Caitlin Clark's alleged aunt was there, her dad was there, her mom was there, and her brother was there. Now, based on what Stephanie White said, Stephanie White stated that Caitlin Clark woke up with stiffness in her back. if I got family from out of town, at this game, right? They're not from Indy. They had to fly in. Caitlyn's mom flew in. That was a situation where the trainer came up to Caitlin Clark's mom and whispered something in her ear. And Caitlin Clark's mom looked very shocked. Now, this clip right here, before we get into that, to this fan that was courtside, this is Caitlin Clark and her mom during the game. Roll.
Some people are going to miss Caitlin.
So this is Caitlin's mom. They go, Mr. Clark. He looked mad already. This is Mr. Clark right here. This is Caitlin Clark, mom, Mrs. Clark. They're there at this set game.
He's going to miss Caitlin.
So that's Caitlin Clark. So if you look at Caitlin Clark's face with her mom, look, watch her face. That ain't like one of them type smiles where, Mom, I'm happy you're here. There's something there. I have to keep it real. So this is Caitlin Clark's mom. This is Caitlin looking at her mom. This is before the hug comes together. Right? Roll.
Some people are going to miss Caitlin. All of WN.
Now look at Mr. Clark behind them. Mr. Clark don't look like a happy dad right now. He don't look like a happy dad. Now, there was a fan that was sitting courtside right next to Caitlin Clark and her mom. Now, this lady right here, she flew in from Australia. Now, she finna tell us on this live exactly what happened between Caitlin Clark mom, Indiana Fever trainer, and that whole situation, because there was a conversation that was had between Caitlin Clark mom and the Indiana Fever trainer. I believe his name is Dozer, I think. If Caitlin Clark had stiffness before this game, why are we getting a assistant or a trainer talking to Caitlin Clark mom? I'll tell you why. Because Caitlin Clark mom did not know that her daughter was not finna play today. Don't you think if Caitlin Clark mom knew she was finna play today, she would have possibly not been courtside, or possibly said, you know what, Caitlin, since you're not playing, maybe we'll sit up in a booth or something. For them to go out of their way to tell Mrs. Clark that her daughter was not finna play, let me know that they did not know that Caitlin Clark was not finna play the game. Caitlin Clark had family come in from out of town. And if Caitlin Clark had any type of injury, not saying that she's not hurt, because I don't want to paint that picture if she very much could be hurt. I don't want to paint that picture. But I'm saying, if my mom come see me work from out of town and I'm not feeling good that day, or I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, the first thing I'm doing is telling my mom, hey, Mom, Dad, I'm not feeling good. Maybe you guys might not want to sit courtside. Just go sit in the booth. I'm not saying don't come to the game because you guys flew. Come to the game, support the team, but y'all ain't got to sit courtside. Y'all can sit up top in the booth. Shout out to you for the super chat. They said super chat, if it was Raven or Kelsey, Stephanie White would know what kind of injury it was. Not just go ask the trainer. Exactly. And we ain't even got to Stephanie White yet. We ain't even look. That's a whole nother segment. See, that's a whole nother segment that we finna paint here. See, the Stephanie White part, we gonna say that later on. We got to talk about the conspiracy for the parents. See, no one's talking about the Clark family. See, the Clark family flew in to go to this game. Unbeknownst to them, Caitlin Clark was not playing. Now, I'm done talking. Listen to this.
So I was there courtside, row 1, section K, which is directly opposite the Fever bench for tonight's game. And just like everybody else, I found out just upon arriving to the stadium that Caitlin Clark was out tonight. Completely bummed. When I got when I sat down, I actually had Caitlin Clark's mum sit directly next to me. And her whole family.
Now, on this next part, now y'all just heard her say she sat directly next to Caitlin Clark mama. Caitlin Clark mom, Mrs. Clark, sat right next to this fan. Now, in this next segment, she's going to let us know that it wasn't just Mrs. Clark and Mr. Clark at this game. Listen to him.
Family was there. Her dad was there. Her brother was there. It was a whole bunch of other people, relatives, it looked like. So maybe like auntie and uncle, I'm not sure. Family, friends. But they definitely came to watch her play. And the expectation, I'm sure, was that she was playing.
Boom! Bombshell! Bombshell! I don't think much is really going on with her. That's a bombshell. Now, did y'all just hear her say there was a lot of family members at this game? What happened last game Caitlin played? Caitlin Clark last game, right? Let's pull up the Indiana Fever last game. Because that was the game that Caitlin Clark balled out in. I mean, Caitlin Clark balled out in that Storm game. She definitely did. Caitlin Clark got a double-double. Caitlin Clark had a double-double in that last game. So versus the Storm, Caitlin Clark had 21 points, 5 of 10 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, made all her free throws, 7 rebounds, 10 assists, damn near got a triple-double in the last game she played. So if I'm balling out and I want support for my family to be there, the family called up, hey, Caitlin's on fire. We need to make our way to Indy. We need to get courtside. We need to see her play. That's why a lot of family members was there.
The trainer, who, I can't remember his name. Let me see if I can get a picture up. Hold on. This guy. He came over to Caitlin Clark's mum, and he actually, came over and was like, hey, and her mum said to him, how's she going? And he said, yeah. And then obviously they tried to speak discreetly next to me, but it was something along the lines of, she pulled up, saw this today, and we tried to see if she was all right, but we just made a decision to sit her out. And anyone who knows that Caitlin Clark is a competitor.
So for those of the people who's just now joining us, right? Smash that like button, y'all. Get the likes up. Get the likes up. Subscribe to the tribe. Because this is some exclusive information, bro. How the hell Caitlin Clark's mom did not know she wasn't going to play? Stephanie White did a press conference before this game. How did Mrs. Clark and Mr. Clark not know Caitlin woke up with stiffness in her back? How did the Clark family not know this? If multiple relatives flew in from Iowa to watch Caitlin Clark play, how did Mrs. Clark and the rest of the Clark family not know Caitlin Clark woke up with stiffness? Make it make sense.
This girl is not sitting out for anybody, or for any reason other than she's injured or she's being very precautionary to not re-injure herself. Now, in the other courtside games that I sat in Section A, row 1, seat 5, which is right next to the Fever bench. Against the Mystics, she had asked to be subbed, and then she asked the trainer to take her straight in the tunnel. And I had told a few people who I know, Dib Sports, etc., about this, where she, mid-game, was getting work done. And obviously this has been a little bit of a niggle and an injury. We've all seen her on the bench putting on the strap around her back. We all know that. But guys, This is Caitlin. She is not going to be benched if she's not injured or she's not going to do any damage to herself. Like, she is a true competitor to her core. Seriously, this is Caitlin not playing. This is her wishing she was on the floor. This is her going, God, get me out there. She said recently, like, being on the bench, yes, she wants to be one of the best teammates she can in terms of being supportive, but God knows she does not want to be benched. She wants to be playing ball. She loves it more than anybody. And I don't think that these conspiracy theories...
Now, in this next part, she finna say that there gotta be conspiracy theories. That Caitlin Clark is not hurt. Is not hurt. Now, this was Caitlin Clark on the bench yesterday. Look at this.
And I could go for an Uncrustable right now, actually.
Caitlin chilling. She's chilling.
It results in winning. And I could go for an Uncrustable right now.
Y'all see?
It's fun, and it results.
Y'all see? Now, in the next part of this, she finna talk about
around her being punished, her being suspended, her protesting. All these rubbish claims are exactly that. They are absolute garbage claims. And I can guarantee you she has got an injury, and it might be mild and it might be precautionary that she sat out. But either way, she's not taking chances to ruin an actual season. And it may very well be like what we saw with Aaliyah. She sat out for a game and she came back and absolutely balled out. So let's just hope she's back for the Valkyries, because that is my last game before I fly back to Australia. So please, 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 please be okay for Friday. Let's go Fever. The other thing as well, I met the girls in the tunnel, and what I'm going to say, Maisha Hines.
All right, she goes on to talk about the fans and meeting the players in the tunnel. So she was definitely there. She was definitely at this game, bro. Now, moving on to another part of the live, right? So we talked about Caitlin Clark mom. Those of you guys who just now joining us, be sure to subscribe to the tribe, hype the video. Moving on to the next part. This was Stephanie White
About
before the
5
game.
o'clock.
Listen to Stephanie White. Let's listen to her, y'all.
Steph, when did you guys find out that Caitlin would not be able to play today?
About 5 o'clock.
Did she say that?
Now, why did she say 5 o'clock? Why did she say 5 o'clock? This is why she stated 5 o'clock. Stephanie White had to say 5 o'clock because if she did not say 5 o'clock, which it happened before 5 o'clock, guys, like, she's going to be fined. She's definitely going to be fined. It says WNBA teams must report information concerning player injuries, illness, other medical conditions, or arrests for all WNBA games by when? 5 p.m. local time that day. Hence why your homeboy, Scott Agnes, going back to his tweet, Scotty Boy. See, Scotty Boy did not know that Stephanie White was going to go out there and say what she said. Because Scott probably had to tell Stephanie, hey, you didn't announce this before 5 o'clock. You see? You see? It's a whole lot of spooky business. Let's listen.
There was pain. How did that all kind of come to pass?
Just woke up with some stiffness and some soreness, and we like to see, again, like I always say, like, how do you respond after a workout? Is it for us, it's not the time to take a chance. We just really want to be cautious.
Do you know if there's any concern beyond today?
No, there's not, or I don't know.
Now, that was Stephanie White. And my bad, it did say the day before. Somebody said, which part of Missouri you live in? I live in Chesterfield. Okay, let's see here. Stephanie White said a whole bunch of other stuff too, guys, that we finna go back to. So those of you guys who's just now joining us, who's just now joining the tribe or joining the live, Caitlin Clark mom was at the game, And this was Caitlin Clark hugging her mom.
Miss Caitlin, all of WNBA is going to miss.
This was Caitlin Clark hugging her mom. Those of you guys who might not have seen this part. Now, I don't believe she mixed practice. Some people saying that she was at practice the day before. I can't 100% confirm whether she was there or not, definitively. But, see, this is where the fine situation came in at. Right here, bro. See, USA Network said this during the game.
Without getting too into the weeds about the exact rule, essentially the brass tacks is you're supposed to, the day before a game, by 5 p.m. local time of the respective city, at least update on a player's status for the potential game, questionable, whatnot. That is where the controversy is coming from. That's where the reporter asked, do you think that they'll get fined for technically not following that aforementioned WNBA rules? Apart from that, I'm not going to ask you about the rules and whether they're going to get fined, but what you just made of a Fever team that did not play with Caitlin Clark and how they looked tonight.
I felt like this Fever team found ways to compete. You know, it was the next man up, next woman up mentality. You saw it with Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell. It almost felt like it didn't matter. You know, you heard Aaliyah Boston say it as well. She didn't know
Aaliyah Boston didn't even know. And you want me to believe that y'all ain't know Caitlin Clark was dealing with this back injury, bro. Y'all want us to sit here and believe what y'all saying, right? What y'all saying? Okay. Aaliyah Boston didn't even know.
Caitlin Clark was not going to play, and that really shouldn't change too much. I know it's one of their star players, but you have to find a way to win.
Yeah, they deserve credit because they're not taking a fine just to take a fine, right? Because that's probably what's going to happen. I mean, they truly didn't know. And so I do think as much as the narrative is Caitlin not available, the credit actually has to go to the team for figuring it out, too. She is who she is. She's your game plan. She's a big part of it, whether you're playing against her or you're playing with her. And so you credit the Indiana Fever for executing the way they did without Caitlin Clark, which seems to be pretty last minute.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things, too, is this team that has a lot of experience having to play without Caitlin Clark when you consider last year she only played 13 games. By the way, last year, this year, they're now 17-15 without Caitlin Clark in the lineup. That's not to say at all that they don't need Caitlin Clark in the lineup. Please stop that on social media. I think they might be better without her. Yeah. Stop. Y'all stop it.
Cut it.
They're just...
Those are the co-workers. So her calling out her own co-workers for saying these things. These are the co-workers of a lot of them reports that come out from ESPN saying how much better they are without Caitlin Clark. Now, this was the scene at Gamebridge yesterday, y'all. This was yesterday's game. In the second quarter, watch it. I mean, bruh, look at how empty these seats is. This definitely lets me know that fans probably hopped in their vehicles, started their engines, and got back on the highway, bro. They probably left this game.
The officials are going to review for a possible flagrant foul.
Now, we got Chloe Peterson, right? So Chloe Peterson did a podcast this morning. And this is what Chloe is saying. Let's listen.
Kind of on top of that with your point about transparency, James, I think the messaging from Steph about Caitlin's injury just overall was not necessarily clear. You know, pregame, she said, she's healthy. We're not managing anything. And she was very, direct about the fact that they're not managing anything and she's healthy. But then obviously we had the question of, if she's healthy and they're not managing anything, why is she not playing? And that led to your question of, is she injured post game, which Steph White did not directly answer, I would say. She said her back is sore. Anything more than that, that's the training staff, which is not a no. So I think, kind of just on top of all of the injury report stuff, the messaging on if Caitlin Clark is injured, what the injury is, if it's ongoing, is just unclear as well, especially with the fact, Steph said it was not ongoing, but then earlier in the season, a week or two ago, she said, Caitlin, along with a lot of other players, they're going to be going back to the tunnel to be getting adjustments during the game. And for Caitlin, that's getting her back adjusted, because Caitlin said her back gets out of line pretty quickly. And I guess my question about that would be, is this all the same thing, where then it is an ongoing thing, or is the back issue that kept her out of yesterday's game a separate thing that is not ongoing?
Now, I'm going to find more of this clip for us to listen to, because Chloe Peterson is there. Shout out to you for the super chat. Super chat stated, seats empty. They was crashing in for oil change. Now, that's crazy, because Stephanie White said this at the conclusion of the game.
Steph, just following up on Caitlin from earlier, she didn't practice yesterday. Why was she not listed on the injury report, or why wasn't the injury report updated like earlier today if she woke up with soreness in her back?
Well, not everybody that doesn't practice or gets a pro day is on the injury report, so that happens all the time. And she wasn't listed on the injury report earlier because we expected her to play.
And is she injured? I guess is a fair question. Is she injured, or is it something other than an injury?
Her back is sore. So if there's anything more detailed than that, that's the training staff.
Do you think the Fever could get fined for not listing her as on the injury report?
No.
Thank you.
So Stephanie White
Steph, just following up on Caitlin from earlier,
that she don't believe they could be fined for not reporting the injury. When we all know, Steph, we all know that there was some type of injury. Now, just like I stated, the Indy Star got their little podcast called Indy Star Fever TV. Now, this is more of what news is saying coming out of Indiana, right? This is some more of what is coming out of Indiana. Let's listen.
So I think, but especially with, what you said, Tony, on, players do get rest days, practice rest days. But I think there is an important designation between, are they just resting because, they have a scheduled off day, or do they have a concern that they are that they are working with? And I think that was the difference between having, what Steph called a pro day, a rest day, and having something that would actually be of concern for not practicing.
So I'm glad you brought that up. This is where I think it gets weird. So if you have a rest day, you're resting. Stephanie White told us that she got treatment on her back. Are you getting treatment on your back because you're resting your back, or because your back is injured? And
so now, I'm going to pause it right here and we go listen to some more. So what it's looking like to me, what is happening in Indiana is they're divided. The media now is questioning Stephanie White. Based off what I'm hearing right now in this segment here that was recorded by the Indy Star, they're basically saying there is a lack of transparency from Stephanie White to the media and definitely to the fans. Now, we all know last year, what was they doing? Oh, it's day to day. Oh, we'll know. Why was they doing these things? See, the Fever fans already don't like y'all. They're already not really 100% sold on the Indiana Fever front office. This is telling me that there is something troubling going on in Indiana between the media and Stephanie White, and Scott Agnes is in on it with her.
When I go back through, I'm sure you might play it, Brian, but when you go back through the audio of all of our questions, some of them I have to laugh at because if you just say it in a vacuum, it sounds such a dumb question. Like, did she practice? Is she injured? Is this ongoing? But you're trying to get more information out of them because they're not forthcoming from the start. I dealt with a similar situation a couple of years ago with Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson Sr. And initially, they did the same thing. It actually was the same body part and everything. Shane Steichen came out and said, oh, his back is sore, he can't play. And the fan base lost their minds because they were like, wait a second. At that time, it was late in the season. Different scenario for Caitlin. It's early in the season, but in that time, late in the cold season, they're like, what do you mean he's not playing? His back is sore. It's football. Everyone's sore. And come to find out through some further reporting, he had severe back spasms and couldn't walk. And so we found that out.
Now, shifting gears here. This made the Boston Post. We all know what this is. We all know what this is. We all cannot forget this scene here. As much as they tried to say that this right here was not a factor in why we did not see Caitlin Clark, I got a hard time believing that. It's to the point now that their own local media is questioning the credibility of a head coach. So y'all let me know if Stephanie White should be fired or not. Because as of right now, it looking like her job is running on slim days, bro. This is definitely looking like her job could very much be on the line, bro. Because if she's not about to be fired, something has to be done. At this point, look at them. They're there. Amber and Kelly see this. They there. Make it make sense to me. Because for the life of me, I just don't understand. I mean, for the life of me. I mean, my goodness. This is getting bad. Now, let's listen to this gentleman, man.
You probably heard a controversy about the fact that Caitlin Clark did not play last evening because of the back. Do you see my air quotes? If you haven't seen them, let's pretend that they're there. We all have seen early on some of the questionable moves by Stephanie White, and quite frankly, the front office. But this one, to me, is the worst because not only did it, listen, again, if you don't know who I am, Darren Redmond from the Around the Ballpark podcast, the Darren Redmond podcast, over 30 some odd years of high-level sales, marketing, specifically in advertising, last, 15, 20 years in the nonprofit world, helping people. My point is this. I was the director of hockey operations for the Fresno Monsters for a couple of years. You don't betray your home audience, especially. Now, if you want to sit Caitlin Clark, that's lovely. But if you want to say she woke up with a bad back, but you decided not to play her at 4:30, no, you were trying to get as much walk-up gate as possible.
They tried to get walk-up gate. This is about the money. How do you announce that she's not playing an hour before the game? An hour before the game. What the hell is going on in Indy, bro? Listen to him.
Until you made this announcement. And that stinks. Now, I don't know what's going on in that locker room, but you can watch the reaction as Caitlin scores and moves the ball and has a wonderful relationship with her teammates. But talking to the defensive coach, talking to her head coach, it just doesn't look like there's a lot of love in the room. It doesn't look like Indiana realizes that they have a pretty good team, a very good team, with Caitlin Clark. And when you hear or see these knuckleheads just say, see, they're better off without her, you played an expansion team. Settle down.
Exactly, bro. But wait, there's more. Listen to Game Day Garage.
I'm pissed off. You see this person right here, Stephanie White, head coach of the Indiana Fever? Let me mute her. I don't want to hear her talk. She's had it out to get Caitlin Clark for whatever reason now for 2 seasons. It all stems back to last year. The injury flared up, saying stupid things, never defending her, letting her get mugged out there on a nightly basis, not running plays for her, taking the ball out of her hands, not running the offense through her. Today, an hour before the game, the Indiana Fever come out and announce that Caitlin Clark will be missing tonight's game, and she wasn't on the injury report yesterday. What's going on here? She was getting her back worked on. Stephanie White is saying, it's not a problem, we just want to make sure she's good. What are we saying? We have a head coach with an ego for some reason clashing with Caitlin Clark, the face of the WNBA. We have a problem. This is the worst nightmare scenario right here, and I hope it doesn't get any bigger than this. We should all be hoping and praying that she's healthy and okay and ready to play ball, their next game. But there's a part of me that fears the Indiana Fever and the WNBA, more specifically, they've known this whole time heading into this year that there's an issue there, health-wise. And they wanted to do everything in their power to avoid hurting ticket sales because, they're doing record-setting numbers for their business since she's arrived. The partners, the WNBA, should be absolutely furious right now with this. And me, a fan of Caitlin Clark, obviously, but I'm an Indiana Fever fan now. I'm pissed. I want everybody in the front office canned, and I want this head coach out of here. I'm telling you, it's a problem.
Exactly. And my boy, you're not the only one. But wait, there's more. So this was Stephanie White in the beginning part of this season, right? This is Stephanie in the beginning part of this season speaking about Caitlin Clark.
No, it's basic maintenance, and I think when you think about the expansion of medical teams in the W, it's like every other professional team. Like you have more hands on and more people on duty and more hands on deck, and you can go back and you can get regular maintenance adjustments. I know everybody's focused on Caitlin, but our other players are going back to get regular maintenance too. So yeah, it's just going to be something that's going to consistently see. I wish I could go get an adjustment at halftime.
Is it just like a chiropractor, just kind of works on them, loosens them up? Or?
No, I don't. You have to ask the medical staff exactly what it is. I stay in my lane.
You stay in your lane. This is what Stephanie said. Stephanie said she stay in her lane, right? Well, this was locker room footage immediately after the game, right? Immediately after the game. Look at how happy Stephanie is. Look at how joyful she is. Watch this. Watch this.
It's about growth, right? 75% assist rate, y'all. Excellent. 21 assists on 28 field goals. Really good stuff. We moved the ball incredibly well. 25 for 29 from the free throw line. Good stuff. We out-rebounded them. I thought our ball movement, our ability to handle pressure, especially in the first half, but really through the first 2.5 quarters, was really good. Okay, really good. Our defensive energy and intensity, for the most part, really good. Proud of our effort. Really proud of you guys. It's a really great effort. Oh, we also had 20 points off of turnovers, so good job. How many? I don't know. Two violations.
Now, this is something I just came across, right? Now, shout out to the look, there's 4 Stephanie White Twitter accounts popping up damn near every day. Everybody wants this lady canned immediately. They do not like Stephanie White at all. Not even a damn little bit. This states, I think Stephanie White listens to a lot of Clark haters. She is deeply indebted to people like Carolyn Peck and Dawn Staley. See, Dawn Staley used to be Stephanie White teammate, and we're going to talk about that too. and takes their words seriously. Carolyn Peck, Dawn Staley, Lynn Dunn, Kelly Kristoff, Caitlin Clark is surrounded by knives. Now, this goes on to say the connection without mentioning their interactions between Coach White, her assistant coaches, the Fever front office staff, and Lynn Dunn. What is this? Stay here. The semi-complete history note. How bad the win/loss are. Purdue, 1995 to 99. Lynn Dunn coaches freshman Stephanie White with the Boilermakers, finished 22-11. Carolyn Peck leads White and Purdue to the national championship. Kelly Kristoff is hired as the first GM of the expansion Indiana Fever. The December 1999 blockbuster trade. Kelly Kristoff trades All-Star Sandy Bordello and Indiana's 2000 first-round 10th overall pick to the Miami Soul rookie Stephanie White. Stats at time of the trade. Sandy Bordello and Stephanie White. Now, this, I'm guessing, right, reading this, shout out to you for the super chat. Hold up, we got to get to all the super chats. It stated, I'm so ready to buy Caitlin Clark 22 Lynx jersey. I don't know, man. I'm ready to get any type of damn Caitlin Clark jersey. But I'm guessing they highlighting these comments, breaking down the stats and letting us know who's running the show in Indy. It say launching the franchise in 2000 through 2024. Kelly Kristoff finished 9-23. White starts averaging 7 points. She was shooting 38% from the from the three-point line. Dunn coaches expansion Seattle Storm team to a matching 6-26 record. Damn, that's bad. Bordello sits out the season for Sydney Olympics. 2001 finished 10-22. The Storm finished 10-22. Bordello debuts in Miami. Fever finished 16-16 in 2002. First playoff berth. Guys, they're painting a picture that this has been the culture in Indiana for a while. That's what this picture is painting here. This is sickening. I can't even lie. Let's finish reading, man, because the men lie, women lie, and the numbers damn sure ain't lying today. Boy, they ain't lying today. They is keeping it all way, what you say, 1,000 out, baby. They definitely ain't lying. It goes on to say, in 2003, Dunn joins the Fever as a scout under head coach Neil Fronter. Dunn promoted to assistant coach. Fever finished 15-19. White averaged just 6 points. Phase 3, championship coaching, 2008 through 2016. Kelly Kristoff promotes Lynn Dunn to head coach, where she finished 17-17. Lynn Dunn leads the Fever to a 22-12 record. WNBA Finals. Kelly drafts Breon January, 6th overall pick. January becomes full-time starter. Kelly hires White as top assistant coach. Y'all see this? Is y'all seeing what I'm seeing? Because I'm seeing a trend of bad decision-making from the front office. Bad decision-making. Unjustifiable moves has been being made with the Indiana Fever dating back to 1999. So maybe when we see Caitlin Clark on a Leah Boston podcast, just maybe when we see this, because I know we got to pull it up again. Caitlin Clark definitely probably means
because she's epic. She has to.
Whatever.
She's on that till 2029. 2029. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Till 2029.
Hey, I love playing with you.
Yeah, well, I'm only signed till.
Yeah. Don't worry about that.
Well, next year.
Don't worry.
Because she's epic. She has to.
Whatever.
She's on that till 2029. 2029.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Till 2029.
Hey, I love playing with you.
Yeah, well, I'm only signed till.
Yeah.
I had to play it 2 times. We had to play it 2 times, man. Because at this point, there's a picture being painted. There's a Picasso being made. That there is no justification realm for the scrutiny and the BS that the Indiana Fever has been causing us fans. See, the Indiana Fever has been using the Caitlin Clark hype to try to line their own pockets. Hence why they didn't tell us till an hour before the game that Caitlin Clark was hurt. You see? This was Caitlin Clark on the bench yesterday. Do Caitlin Clark look happy? She don't look happy. She don't look happy. Now, I could very much be wrong. But to me, this don't look like a happy picture of Caitlin Clark. This look like get me the hell out of Indy picture of Caitlin Clark. I mean, it's getting that bad. I mean, bruh, this is insane. I mean, we can't even make this up. It's just the amount of bullshit that is coming from the Indiana Fever is mind-blowing. Let's finish listening to some of
If
this.
you want the league to continue to grow, you have to be transparent about that beyond even just the betting side of it, but also like you have the betting and the revenue side, but you also have the fan and spending money side, and both of those things could benefit from more transparency.
I'll play that post-game audio here that James alluded to. This was Stephanie White. This is an exchange that she had with James. I know that you guys were brainstorming together the questions. James wanted to ask them, so I'm going to play that clip here.
Caitlin from earlier, she didn't practice yesterday. Why was she not listed on the injury report, or why wasn't the injury report updated like earlier today if she woke up with soreness in her back?
Well, not everybody that doesn't practice or gets a pro day is on the injury report, so that happens all the time. And she wasn't listed on the injury report earlier because we expected her to play.
And is she injured? I guess is a fair question. Is she injured, or is it something other than an injury?
Her back is sore, so if there's anything more detailed than that, that's the training step.
Do you think the Fever could get fined for not listing her as on the injury report?
No.
Thank you.
See?
Line of questioning there post game with Stephanie White and James Boyd. James, since you asked the questions, I'll let you give your takeaways on the responses, then we can just bounce between Tony and Chloe.
Yeah, I'll say this real quick. Shout out to Dusty Tales. Thanks for tuning into the show. And he says, I couldn't care. He or she, I'm sorry, says, I couldn't care less about how it affects gamblers and decisions. Yes, you and I both don't care, but the league makes a ton of money off the amount of betting money that's infused into the games. So while I don't,
I'm glad James Boyd said that. If you guys are not following James Boyd on Twitter, you guys need to make sure, because he's the realest reporter up there. He's keeping it all the way real. The bet, so on FanDuel, Bet365, y'all think they ain't betting on Caitlin Clark on these apps? On DraftKings? You think that they're not betting on Caitlin Clark playing in that game after she did the game before she got hurt? Because we got to go back to it. Caitlin Clark went 21, 7, and 10 the game before. 21, 7, and 10 is what Caitlin Clark did before this game. And y'all don't think there was high odds of Caitlin Clark having another 20-point game on the betting apps? Y'all don't think that the betting apps play a factor in this? Because had they put her on the injury report, it would have hurt the betting apps and it would have hurt the ticket sales. It would have hurt the ticket sales and the betting apps. Guys, this is a bigger play at hand. Let's finish listening.
I love betting on the games, and I definitely think that it's kind of a weird situation to look at a player's over-unders and decide how much value they have to in your own personal life. the league got in bed, all these leagues, the NFL, WNBA, the NBA, they all got in bed with betting companies, betting partnerships, because it infuses so much money into the league. No athletes would be getting paid as much as they do if betting weren't basically around the country legalized everywhere. So let's get that point out the way. But I fear rebuttal, and I feel that. But then on top of that, when it comes to just overall the interaction, I just want some clarity on it. Not trying to be combative, not trying to be vindictive, but
Shout out to James.
when again you're not forthcoming initially, that leads to more questions and perhaps, hopefully, more answers on the situation overall.
I thought Chloe was gonna go, so I just
yeah.
leave her.
Well, kind of on top of that with.
Now, let's pause this. We're going to come back to this, right? We're going to come back to this. But listen, shout out to Allison. So Allison just posted this.
I've been watching her do it for 4 years, 5 years, really. So that's just who she is. It's what she does. I mean, nobody tells Steph Curry not to take good shots, right? I've been watching her do it for 4 years, 5 years, really.
So this is when she first got there.
That's just who she is. It's what she does. I mean, nobody tells Steph Curry not to take good shots, right?
Now, Stephanie, if you saying this, right, when you first got to Indy, this is what you went on record and stated, right? So if you said that in the beginning, right, why the hell would you take Caitlin Clark off the ball? Why the hell is we seeing Caitlin Clark moving to the 2, moving to the 3? You got her all over the damn place. Why is that, Stephanie? If you feel this way, Stephanie, why is that? Why are we going through this? Let's finish listening.
Your point about transparency, James. I think the messaging from Steph about Caitlin's injury just overall was not necessarily clear. You know, pregame she said she's healthy, we're not managing anything, and she's very, direct about the fact that they're not managing anything and she's healthy. But then obviously we had the question of, if she's healthy and they're not managing anything, why is she not playing? And that led to your question of, is she injured post game, which Steph White did not directly answer, I would say. She said her back is sore, anything more than that, that's the training staff, which is not a no. So I think kind of just on top of all of the injury report stuff, the messaging on if Caitlin Clark is injured, what the injury is, if it's ongoing, is just unclear as well, especially with the fact, Steph said it was not ongoing, but then earlier in the season, a week or two ago, she said, Caitlin, along with a lot of other players, they're going to be going back to the tunnel to be getting adjustments during the game. And for Caitlin, that's getting her back adjusted, because Caitlin said her back gets out of line pretty quickly. And I guess my question about that would be, is this all the same thing, where then it is an ongoing thing, or is the back issue that kept her out of yesterday's game a separate thing that is not ongoing?
So do you guys see what is happening in Indy? Now, we stated this before. The media is starting to question Stephanie White's credibility as a coach. This is bad, because now the transparency between local media and Stephanie White is lost in the sauce. It's lost in the sauce. And what Chloe Peterson, James Boyd is doing, they're telling the fans the truth. Now, last year, when Caitlin Clark was dealing with the groin injury, a lot of the media was combating with the Fever front office. It wasn't a whole lot of transparency from the media or the organization. Well, I'm guessing now the media is starting to see, y'all making us lose credibility because y'all lying and we lying for y'all. Do we not remember last year when there was multiple articles playing into this? Caitlin Clark ankle got hurt in practice. When we seen Caitlin Clark get stepped on by Breanne January. You guys remember when Caitlin Clark was hurt with the groin injury and Breanne January totally smoked her ankle? We can't forget that. Like, y'all remember when they stepped on Caitlyn's ankle, the coaches did, and they tried to say, and they tried to tell us, hey, she hurt her ankle at practice? Even the media was coming out with articles, the Indy Star, Scott Agnes, all of them was coming out with the articles. Caitlin Clark hurt her ankle at practice. When we see clear as day, Breon January stepped on Caitlin Clark's ankle while she was sitting on the bench. We can't forget about that, guys. There is a track record of lack of transparency. There is a track record of dysfunctional behavior from the front office. And at this point, I am fucking convinced that Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are at odds. Now, I very much could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong, but I'm truly convinced that there is something going on between Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever front office. Let's finish listening.
And I thought Caitlin made it clear after that first game where her back was getting lunch. She was like, yeah, I'm fine. This is not a thing. You know, it seemed like it would be isolated to that day, and now it's the 5th game of the season, and there's a back thing that's keeping her out of a game, right? So knowing if they're connected is obviously also a critical both short and long-term part of this story. And that's all I have to add. Very helpful, I know.
So Tony East is trying to keep his media pass. He's trying to keep his shit. He ain't trying to lose his credentials. He's definitely not trying to lose his credentials. Tony East said that's all I got to say about that. Bro, this is what we don't need. We don't need this type of reporting. We need James Boyd. Ask the tough questions. Get us some clarity, because as of right now, there is no clarity coming from the Indiana Fever front office. And we need more reporters asking the questions the fans want to know, because the fans wants to know what the hell is going on with Caitlin Clark. Because just last night, we heard Stephanie White state, we don't even know if she hurt or not. Is it an injury? Is it not an injury? Like, what is it? What is it? Let us know. What is it? Is it an injury? Is it not an injury? Listen to her. Listen to her.
Steph, when did you guys find out that Caitlin would not be able to play?
Listen to her.
About 5 o'clock.
Did you say that there was pain? How did that all kind of come to pass?
Just woke up with some stiffness and some soreness, and you know, we like to see again, like I always say, like, how do you respond after a workout? Is it you know, for us, it's not the time to take a chance. We just really want to be cautious.
You know if there's any concern beyond today?
No, there's not. Or I don't know.
Look, it's always
Caitlin participated in practice yesterday.
Why is it always I don't know? Bro, why is it always from Stephanie White? I don't know. I don't know. That's not my department. I don't know. What coach in a professional? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Like, what the hell, bro?
She did not participate in practice. She got treatment yesterday and went through workouts after practice.
Is this something that you all anticipate could be ongoing, or?
Don't anticipate that, but you know, I'm not a doctor. I don't know.
Yeah, with Caitlin out, do you anticipate Raven or Ty stepping in?
See, so this was before the game, right? Then James Boyd went back in after the game, which we're going to play that here in a minute. Let's listen. Is there no sound on this? I don't think. Can you guys not hear it? Let me know if you guys can hear it or not. Hold on, guys. There's no sound.
Oh wow, yeah. I guess that is kind of noteworthy. Meanwhile, I've seen a guy like get his pinky broken open and they just stitched him up and it was fine. So the point is, yes, it's of note, the heating pad, but overall, I think the frustration from the fan perspective, and again, I'm moving outside of the betting conversation. I know that can be a sore subject. My only stance on that is that if it brings revenue to your league, you probably got to be more transparent with the business and the companies that you are in bed with. But overall, to be very clear for myself, I feel worse for the fans because we all know they're paying big money, some of them traveling from different places.
James Boyd is cooking. He is cooking a day. James Boyd said everything everybody been wanting to say. He's speaking for the fans. James Boyd basically saying, right, for the fans that spend money on these tickets, there's no way they gonna be happy when they spent their money and not see Caitlin Clark, bro. And y'all wait until the end to let us know that she wasn't playing.
To see Caitlin Clark play. That does not mean she's obligated to play through every injury or always be available. She's a human. Injuries happen in sports. That is fine.
Oh, man,
but the moment that there's a possibility she could not play or something is off, I do think the public is owed that transparency to say, hey, before I buy these tickets or before I make this trip, there's a possibility she can't play. Because having that kind of hit the fan right before the doors open and you can come in and watch the game is, to me, disingenuous, or it comes off as disingenuous. It might not even been meant to come off that way, but I'm telling people, or at least that's how I feel about it. That's how it's perceived. That's how it comes off. It looks like, just being real, I'll be as blunt as I can, it looks like a money grab from the WNBA when...
Guys, this James Boyd works in Indiana. Look at Chloe Peterson with her head down. Look at Tony East, head down. Look at Brian Hank with his head down. They is mind blown that James Boyd is calling out the buffoonery. It's looking spooky. Bro, they look like, damn, why did you say that? Look at their faces. Guys, this is very, very real. I mean, Chloe Peterson, Brian Hank, and Tony E's heads are down. They're all three of them are, and James Boyd is just sitting here looking at him like, bro, how do y'all not see the play? How can you not see the play? My goodness, bro. My goodness, he is cooking. Oh,
she's fine all the way up until she's not fine right before tip-off. It's like, well, how come you didn't tell me this 4 hours ago, 5 hours ago, a day ago? And again, I don't think that the Fever or the WNBA are actively trying to seek out ways to trick the public. But all I'm saying is, if this was an honest mistake or a misstep, which I think it is, then you need to make sure you overcorrect it in the future so that you're not basically misusing the fans who have supported this league and the more of them that are pouring into it.
That would be my addendum too, is that this entire thing makes perfect sense told start to finish if they just list her as probable back at like 10:30 in the morning. Right? The whole, and then it's the most easily explainable day ever, right? And every answer would, that's why I think it's so we're getting to all these points we're getting to.
That's what I was about to say. I mean, I think there were multiple opportunities for the Fever to potentially list her as questionable, probable even, starting with the 5 p.m. injury report on Tuesday.
Exactly.
And then when she woke up with back stiffness on Wednesday morning, that's another opportunity. They could have even put her as questionable or probable or whatever on Wednesday morning. And then the opportunities leading up to the game, maybe when she got to the arena at 3:30 and she got evaluated again. So there were multiple opportunities throughout the day, which I'm sure the Fever were in constant communication with Caitlin, and knowing it's something that they were monitoring and they knew about, kind of going back to practice on Tuesday, where obviously she got treatment, and then Stephanie White said on pregame on Wednesday that she treated it as she always does, with players do a workout and then you see how they feel after the workout and the next day, which meant the Fever were monitoring it from Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, which meant they likely thought there was an inkling, even a small one, that potentially she couldn't play, kind of dating.
Exactly. So now what Chloe is doing now, Chloe is doing damage control for the Fever subliminally. So Chloe is subliminally doing damage control because she gotta not. So basically, Chloe is not trying to go against what the front office said, because the front office stated that she's hurt. So what Chloe is insinuating is that if y'all knew that there was even a little inkling of Caitlin Clark being actually hurt, if there was y'all should have said questionable. Well, if Caitlin Clark was hurt and y'all had some little, I don't know, tidbit that she possibly wasn't going to be playing, why not list her as questionable? Huh? Why come y'all did not list her as being questionable? Now you wonder why. Now you wonder why fans are like, bruh, is she hurt for real? Because Jane Boyd, he kind of know right at this moment, Chloe's full of shit. So what Chloe is doing here, Chloe is trying to damage control the situation. That's what Chloe is doing right now at this junction. She's trying to damage control this entire situation. Clear as day. It's clear as day what Chloe is doing right now.
Back to Tuesday. So I think, as Tony said, a lot of this outcry could have been avoided. Probably all of it could have been avoided if they just list her as probable on the 5 p.m. injury report on Tuesday.
And I think somebody in the chat, make your memories loud, has said probably because Caitlin was going to try and play. I bet that's possible. I bet a lot. Like that also would make sense given the day timeline that we know. Is it's possible she woke up with pain, but still tried to play. As Stephanie White said, they expected that she would. That's why they didn't list her. We don't know that. That was
okay. Tony Eats, you just fucking lied. You just lied, Tony. You just lied. Let's listen to Stephanie White. Did Stephanie White say, hold on, let's listen.
Steph, just following up on Caitlin from earlier, she didn't practice yesterday. Why was she not listed on the injury report, or why wasn't the injury report updated like earlier today if she woke up with soreness in her back?
Well, not everybody that doesn't practice or gets a
Hold on. Because Tony East is insinuating that Caitlin Clark was finna play, right? That's what Tony just said. Tony just said that Caitlin could have played. Okay, let's see. Let me blow this up here real quick. Let's blow this up. Hold on. Because I want you guys to hear something real quick. I want you guys to hear this. Listen to this right here. I'm about to play this, and then we're going to go back to what they
said. Just following up on Caitlin from earlier, she didn't practice yesterday. Why was she not listed on the injury report, or why wasn't the injury report updated?
So if Caitlin did not practice yesterday, based on what they said to the media, going back to what Tony said. Now, let's listen to Tony. Listen to Tony right here, guys.
I was about to say, I mean, I think there were multiple opportunities for the Fever to potentially list her as questionable, probable even, starting with the 5 p.m. injury report on Tuesday. And then when she woke up with back stiffness on Wednesday morning, that's another opportunity. They could have even put her as questionable or probable or whatever on Wednesday morning. And then the opportunities leading up to the game, maybe when she got to the arena at
we cooking today
3:30 and she got evaluated again. So there were multiple opportunities throughout the day, which I'm sure the Fever were in constant communication with Caitlin, and knowing it's something that they were monitoring and they knew about, kind of going back to practice on Tuesday, where obviously she got treatment, and then Stephanie White said on pregame on Wednesday that she treated it as she always does, with players do a workout and then you see how they feel after the workout and the next day, which meant the Fever were monitoring it from Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, which meant they likely thought there was some kind of, there was an inkling, even a small one, that potentially she couldn't play, dating back to Tuesday. So I think, as Tony said, a lot of this outcry could have been avoided. Probably all of it could have been avoided if they just list her as probable on the 5 p.m. injury report on Tuesday.
Right. Now listen to Tony.
And I think somebody in the chat, make your memories loud, has said probably because Caitlin was going to try and play. I bet that's possible. I bet a lot. Like that also would make sense given the day timeline that we know. Is it's possible she woke up with pain, but still tried to play. As Stephanie White said, they expected that she would. That's why they didn't.
You expected her to play, right? Now y'all just heard him. Y'all just heard Tony say they expected Caitlin to play, right? How did you expect her to play when Stephanie White just said this? Stephanie White.
Steph, just following up on Caitlin from earlier, she didn't practice yesterday. Why was she not listed on the injury report, or why wasn't the injury report updated like earlier today if she woke up with soreness in her back?
Well, not everybody that doesn't practice or gets a pro day is on the injury report, so that happens all the time. And she wasn't listed on the injury report earlier because we expected her to play.
And is she injured? I guess is a fair question. Is she injured, or is it something other than an injury?
Her back is sore. So if there's anything more detailed than that, that's training step.
Do you think the Fever could get fined for not listing her as on the injury report?
No.
Thank you.
No. We're not going to get fined. No. Now let's listen to this.
We don't know that. That was not something specifically said, but that would also fit into this entire day. So there's a lot of things between Caitlin wakes up in 5 that would put a bow on this whole thing.
Yeah, because I'm like, y'all got my girl out here acting like she wakes up at 4:45 and then rolls over and says, you know what? I just can't go today. I'm like, she's been up throughout the day. She's a professional athlete. And we know, jokes aside, how hard Caitlin works at her craft. So the first time she stepped on the court yesterday was not at 4:45. And to be clear, with the WNBA injury report, the day of the game, you can update the injury report every 15 minutes. So that means if you just map it out, you got 4 opportunities every single hour leading up to the game to say something. They didn't say anything until obviously the final buzzer, and we all kind of were a little caught off guard by what happened. So do I think this is a huge issue? Probably not, but there's a probable word again. But there is, in my opinion, an opportunity to overcorrect and make sure you don't do this again. Because I do think, even if the WNBA comes out and says, hey, we're not going to fine you, we're going to warn you, whatever, just don't do this again. Because I promise you, if this, like later today, 5 p.m. injury report, if she's not listed and then tomorrow she's out again or something, that you're playing with fire there, because then you're playing with, I think, the fans and their money and their investment in the league.
I think something that's interesting, too, is just that, bye, Tony. Or not by Tony, by Brian. I think something that's interesting too is even like last week how they reported Aaliyah Boston's injury.
Perfect example. Yes.
She obviously came out in the third quarter of last Friday's game, and then on Saturday, ahead of the Seattle game on Sunday, they reported her as questionable. And then she went through. Obviously, we knew on Saturday she was questionable. And then they went through walkthrough pregame on Sunday, and then she was eventually ruled out. And I wrote this in my story, plug indiestar.com, go read it.
Great piece, seriously.
I wrote in my story that, Steph White used similar verbiage about Aaliyah's injury and how they were monitoring it kind of from Saturday into Sunday as to how they, were monitoring Caitlin's injury. So I think that having such a recent, thing to compare it to makes it more stark of how the Fever should have handled this.
And Aaliyah left the game before in the third quarter, which once again, it speaks to like the timing of when they either found out or their expectation for when the change of what they expected her status to be really was compared to Aaliyah's is like the only difference I can actually find, because that one made perfect sense to me. Like you're saying, we saw her leave a game. We know she's hurt from this thing. She's talked about it before. Okay. She's like, that all perfectly falls in order of line of what you'd expect to happen in a situation like that.
At least we've advanced yesterday beyond the Ask the Medical team, which is James and I think everybody else has pointed out we can't necessarily do. So,
yeah, and honestly, Brian, I've done this in the past. It's getting to the point where, and I get there's a certain level of privacy that every team wants to maintain with injuries, but from my perspective, and I do think I've kind of dropped the ball there a little bit, that can't be an out anymore. There will be a follow-up, at least on my end, if I hear that response again, because you don't have to give us everything. You don't have to give us all of the information, but you also can't sit there and continue to say, at least in my opinion, oh, just ask the medical team. We cannot. No team would ever allow you to do that. So I understand it. I would probably use the same line if I was in Steph White's shoes, but I'm not. So in my shoes, I probably need to follow up a little bit more on that. And, the funny thing about this, if Caitlin plays tomorrow, has a great game, it's in the past. And this is, a story that lasted a day or two. And hopefully we're talking about more basketball-related things going forward.
By the way, after that game, they have 6 days off. The perfect healing time for any basketball team. As good as it gets.
Oh, my
It's going to
God.
become a sports reporting almost core memory of mine, showing up and having Brian and Jacob tell me that Caitlin wasn't playing. And I thought they were messing with me because I was like, what? What are you talking about?
Tony just comes strolling in like nothing's happening, and I think I was texting just straight profanities to Chloe. Just
Boy,
F-bomb.
I saw Chloe's tweet, and I was coming back from Colts practice, and I was like, man, I was just finna sit down and eat dinner, and I'm like, I'll get to the game a little later tonight. No pregame availability from Caitlin. Like, and seriously, the only reason I thought about getting her pregame was asking her about being in the Grand Marshal, and I was like, you know what? I won't waste her time with that. That can be something asked at practice next week. But obviously,
Funny enough,
plans
Chloe and I had the
change.
same conversation the morning before
There you
practice.
go.
We had the exact same conversation. Yeah, really, just God bless America. Let's see the fine part of this. James, you asked about it and you did the research. I'm going to pull from your story, which folks can read at The Athletic as a gift article. Find James on Twitter and check it out. WNBA rules state that when teams submit their day before the game injury report, they must designate a participation status and identify a specific injury, other medical condition, or reason any player participation in the game may be affected for any reason. Game
For
day
any
injury report-
reason.
Any
That might
reason.
include back treatment. Just saying.
Those reports that we've mentioned, just for people, they cycle on, they cycle off, they listen on tape delay. Game day injuries are then reported, or they're then updated on a continual basis throughout the day per league rules. They can begin submitting those reports at 12 a.m. Eastern with updates provided on a 15-minute basis. As we've discussed, has been discussed through ad nauseum, Caitlin Clark was not publicly ruled out until the Fever's Twitter account announced it at 5:20 p.m. on Wednesday. She was ruled out on the WNBA's official injury report at 5:30 p.m. James, you asked the question to Stephanie White if she thought that the Fever would be fine. That's something that we were talking about a lot behind the scenes as well. She said no. But I throw it out to you guys. Do you think that the fine could be coming? Chloe, why don't you start and we'll work our way around?
I mean, I think there is a precedent for it. The Aces were fined for something similar, where Asia Wilson got hurt in a game, left the game. The next injury report, she was not listed for the next game. Obviously, everybody thought she was fine. And then she walks in wearing a boot to that game, and she was eventually ruled out day of game after she walked in with a boot. The Aces were fined an undisclosed amount for that. So, but, regardless of the fine amount, I think there is a precedent for, not listing somebody on the injury report in that way and them being fined for it. So I would not be surprised if there is some sort of fine coming, whether we know the amount or not.
Yeah, I think where this comes with a fine would be like, when did they officially know she was not going to play? And that fits into what her game day looked like, right? If they determined that pretty early in the day, then yeah, maybe so. Like if no one found out till 5:20, 5:30, whatever, and they had a suspicion of her injury in the morning, yes, that should have been on there. As we said, that was like the first thing we talked about, right? Is if this said probable at 10:30 in the morning, like the whole day makes perfect sense. But if that was true, like if what Stephanie White said is true, that their expectation the entire day, including based on the day before at practice, was that she was going to play, like it's going to be hard to actually find them if that was their expectation. But like the Connecticut, we haven't said this yet. Like Connecticut had the same thing happen with BG, right? She was off the injury report completely, and then they put her as right rib right before their game against Seattle, and she didn't play, right? And so it's the same thing. And so if there's if BG, they thought that she was going to play all day, and then something was determined pregame that she couldn't, what are you supposed to do about that? That just sucks. But if her right rib injury was known at name your time in the morning on the West Coast, yeah, that's different, right? So that timeline, I think, will be crucial to knowing if a fine is going to happen or not.
To that end, go ahead, James.
No, you're fine. I was gonna, tip my cap to both of you. And I would just say from an NFL perspective, the Baltimore Ravens got fined $100,000 last year because of how they listed Lamar Jackson initially on an injury report. They had him as a full participant on Friday, the final practice of the week, and then they went back on Saturday and amended that to him being limited and then downgraded him to being out. Clearly, in that one-day span, a lot of people can make plans to go to the game or bet on the game, whatever the case may be. I know the betting thing is a sore subject, but the reason why you see these checks coming in for these players is somebody giving the money up to help pay them. And all of that to say, they got slapped for $100,000 for that sort of kind of on and off again with the injury report discrepancy. So my overall thinking, regardless of it's the NFL, NBA, WNBA, the more transparent you are, the cheaper it is. Let's keep that in mind. And then two, it helps everyone else, fans, media, whatever, operate accordingly.
The 76ers get fined a lot for this. In the Joel Embiid direction, it's either he's not on the injury report and then he's out, or the opposite. He's listed as out, and then like 2 seconds before the game, they're like, hey, he's playing, which would be imagine if we were talking about that today. That would be quite the day. So there is lots of sport precedent for leagues not wanting this to be a thing that happens.
There's some consternation online and in the live chat right now about Caitlin already being ruled out for Friday.
Oh my God. That's not the injury report. That is just some websites guessing based on the past injury report. That happened last year too. It drives me crazy. There's no official injury report for tomorrow's game yet. It'll happen at 5 p.m. today. Sorry.
Yes.
No, but good. You did everything that I was going to ask Chloe to do, and you did it in a more fun fashion, Tony. That is why you are a friend of the show.
It's like, Chloe, now it's your turn to crash out.
Why do these websites do this? There is an official league mandated injury report every single day. You don't have to guess. You don't have to do that.
Clicks, buddy. Like you get the clicks from the gamblers and the degenerates who are trying to get a jump on the lines early and try and get a read one way or the other. So they aggregate it. It wouldn't surprise me if half of that stuff's just AI / just copy and pasting from the previous game.
It makes no sense.
I think part of the issue with the projected injury reports a lot of the time is there are a lot of times where ESPN will aggregate it from RotoWire, I think it is.
Good point. Yes.
And that will not necessarily be correct. But obviously ESPN is known as a very trusted source in terms of stats, injury reporting, everything like that. But the way they kind of do the injury reports and, based it off RotoWire, which doesn't always have the most accurate information, is I think where a lot of fans get confused in that sense of they say ESPN says she's out. So, she's out, even though that's based on the game before and not necessarily the next game.
Yeah, just to be clear, I know people keep saying like the WNBA, their website has it. It just hasn't updated yet. So
yes,
trust me when I say, listen to the people in this chat. Don't even listen to me. Listen to Chloe and Tony, who cover the league, and Brian, who cover the WNBA a lot more than I do. Chloe's at every game. So my point is, trust the people that you have joined for this sort of session to kind of hash this thing out and hopefully give you all some clarity on one of the weirder kind of days for the Fever recently.
And now to be more clear about these websites, she might not play. We don't know that. I'm not saying she is or isn't. I'm saying they don't know. They have no idea. They have no idea.
Yeah, I wanted to say that too, because there's a chance that she doesn't play tomorrow night. In which case, we are not dumbasses. We are simply stating the fact that as of 11:44 Eastern on Thursday, it is not freaking known yet.
I could have cussed this whole time.
Well, so you know what? Let me call Caitlin and get to the bottom of this.
Tony, I think I said fuck last year. You can say whatever you want, buddy.
Know that?
Man, go ahead, James.
No, I got nothing more to add. I think that you all have made very good points. I was just making a joke like, hey, let's just get Caitlin on the line and she'll answer everything for us. But again, and I have heard this same pushback with like the Brittany Griner situation, whereas the uproar there, if this was Lexi Hull, who's a good player in the WNBA in her own right, but not the level of players, Caitlin, we wouldn't be raising hell. To be honest, myself, I probably wouldn't even have noticed it to this degree or raised this sort of stink about it. But the reality is, leagues are built on stars. And I'll give you a perfect example. I didn't think about this, but here's some sort of precedent for you as well. Now, the injury that Patrick Mahomes suffered last year, busting his knee up, I think he tore his ACL, maybe another ligament, is not a sore back, according to Stephanie White for Caitlin Clark. But when he got ruled out, and you get the whole, talk to the medical staff. You know what they did? They put his surgeon out in front of us. And they put the team doctor out there and said, I'm sorry, I don't want to, misspeak. I'm not sure if it was the surgeon, but they put the team doctor out there and provided a huge update on him and allowed reporters not to just sit there and listen, but to ask questions, ask follow-ups, because they knew this is the best quarterback of this era. This is one of the faces of this league. We need to be transparent and upfront with that. And so I'm not saying you have to do that for Caitlin and her back. As Tony and Chloe and Brian have pointed out, you could just put probable on the injury report, and if she's ruled out, boom, probable means probable, but not 100%. That's understandable. But my point is, there are opportunities for you to be transparent. And in my opinion, I just can't keep letting Stephanie White, who I have a lot of respect for, by the way. It's all, in my opinion, kind of like a boxing match. You got to spar a little bit to get what you want, which is fine. But if you aren't going to put the medical staff out there, then that can't be a line that we continue to hear over and over again, because that's a cop-out. And we all have them, but in that position, with that caliber of player, you probably need to just, in my opinion, provide whatever information you can and refrain from the look of being gaslit. Like, just go talk to them. I can't go down the hall and do that. Could you imagine? That would never happen in any league. But my point is, it can happen, but they would never give us that access. So no, that is not a real thing.
I absolutely adore that this is a very serious debate and conversation, and somebody just popped in while you're saying that to say Josh Allen is better than Patrick.
Yeah, I love NFL fans. Y'all are crazy, and forgive me. I haven't covered a lot of great quarterback play here in Indianapolis, so you would know better than me.
This is fun. I love that you guys can see the chat too. I'm really glad that you weren't here for the last show that Chloe and I did, because it got a little little bad. But today honestly hasn't been as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Say, Brian, really I deal with morning radio. I'm in the trenches in the YouTube chat every day. So, I appreciate you all for being somewhat well-behaved, but yeah, you learn to develop some thicker skin.
I think it's the Tony effect. Whenever you have Tony on, it's just a bunch of people saying nice things about Tony.
Well, I love Tony.
I mean, fairly. Like, I'm not complaining. Like, I love Tony too. Oh my God, these people. Jesus. Anything else?
Another addendum also.
Sure.
They played the Portland Fire and still whooped them. Over the course of their season, this could be forgotten very quickly as a result of the way the day went in the end anyway.
Very good point.
Is there anything else? Go ahead, Chloe.
I was just going to say on that, what you said, Tony, at first it was reported that it was Caitlin being out was a strategic management plan for the season. And hypothetically, that would make sense. I mean, obviously, Steph said that's not the case, but hypothetically, it would have made sense considering how.
My bad, guys. I had to go make a run real quick, but I am back. What I'm picking up from this here is it's a whole lot of damage control being done. Chloe is trying her damnedest to not rile up the fans. I mean, well, I wouldn't say rile up the fans. She's trying her damnedest to not make Stephanie White look bad. This is a complete PR stunt. They're trying to definitely make Stephanie White look good. And as of right now, James Boyd is cooking. James Boyd is the realest. He the realest one out of all of them up there, bro. James Boyd got to talking about the fans needed transparency. Hank had to cut his damn camera off. Hank said, you know what, guys? Hank said, you know what, guys? I'll be right back. That is what Hank said. Hank said, you know what? I'ma just be right back because it's too much cooking. It's too much cooking. Y'all doing it here, bro. I want to keep my credentials. That's what this looked like.
Not good, Portland is. Because obviously Caitlin wasn't there. They whooped them by 18. But that is also one of those things where if it was a strategic management plan, which obviously for clarity, it was not. But if it was, that
was... Hold up, wait a minute. Did Chloe just call out Scott Agnes? Because I believe she did. Hold up, wait a minute. We all remember Scotty Boy. Scotty Boy, your channel's cooked after today, bro. I mean, Scott cannot recover from this. We got to remember what Scott said. What did Scott say? Scott stated Fever guard Caitlin Clark will not play tonight versus Portland. I'm told it's part of a strategic management plan for the season. Tonight is the Fever's fourth game. Now, somebody else just said that Caitlin Clark ain't playing tomorrow. Now, shout out to Venom, which I'm about to play his clip after we hear what Chloe said one more time. Because Chloe said, you know what, guys? It is absolutely not management. That's what Chloe just said. Chloe made it her point. She made it her business to say, Scott, you're lying. Stop lying, Scotty boy. So let me guess. You're going to have a problem with Chloe just like you had a problem with content creators a year ago calling out your bullshit, Scotty? Because if you guys don't remember, Scott took a jab at content creators last year. Scott made it his business to ish on content creators. Oh, yes, Scott did. Oh, yes, he did. Oh, my God, yes, he did. Now, let's get back to Chloe. Listen to her.
At first it was reported that it was Caitlin being out was a strategic management plan for the season. And hypothetically, that would make sense. I mean, obviously, Steph said that's not the case, but hypothetically, it would have made sense considering how not good Portland is. Because obviously, Caitlin wasn't there. They whooped them by 18. But that is also one of those things where if it was a strategic management plan, which obviously for clarity, it was not. But if it was, that was something that should have been on the injury report the day before if they knew they were holding her out for
and
strategy reasons.
And to piggyback off of that, as far as Stephanie White goes, and this is what any coach would do, this is not just her. They're trying to protect the player, protect the team, keep information in-house, but she absolutely knows what's going on. So when I've dealt with it with Shane Steichen, he'll tell us, we got to get information.
Smash that like button for your boy. Now, in this podcast, they've been saying that Caitlin Clark is questionable. Caitlin Clark is questionable for tomorrow. That's what they've been saying. Somebody said RICO charges need to come. Definitely RICO charges. But it is against the law for organizations to lie to fans for profit, because that's what they're doing. Now, moving on to a second, I just want to pause this. We're going to come back to this. I want to show you guys what Venom found out yesterday. So if you guys don't know, Venom Reacts is a content creator. This is what Venom found out yesterday.
So, Caitlin Clark is already out versus the Golden State Valkyries on Friday. So something that was just apparently management, something that was apparently not management, I don't know, between Scott Agnes and Stephanie White, I can't tell who's telling the truth. For something that was just figured out today, I guess nobody knew Caitlin was injured yesterday, the day before that, the end of the game when she left with 8 minutes to go. Every other game when Caitlin Clark was getting her back realigned, readjusted, sitting on a blue cushion, never on an injury report. If that wasn't enough, they finally know now that Caitlin Clark won't even be playing in the next one. So she's already out in the next game. Like, we're not going to see how she feels tomorrow morning. We're not going to see how she feels tonight.
Now, do y'all hear Venom? This is the injury report. I got to find out where Venom got this from. Anybody know where Venom got this from, chat? Chat, let me know the website where Venom got this from, because I want to double check it. Because in this podcast that the Indiana Star did today, they're insinuating that Caitlin Clark, they're insinuating that Caitlin Clark has not been announced to not play tomorrow. But Venom found this somewhere. And last time I checked, Venom is not someone that clickbait. Venom is not someone that just make up headlines, create little fake flyers. Venom is credible. Venom is very much credible in what he's saying right now.
We're not going to see how she feels on game day. She won't even be a game time decision. They're already saying she's out. Where is the storyline going? She was supposed to be out today. She was supposed to be out on an injury report. What did Caitlin Clark do today that confirms that she won't be playing on Friday, that you didn't know that she wasn't able to play today? Once again, Indiana Fever, you are lying to your fans and you're not being 100% honest. You're not being honest with your fans. How is Caitlin Clark out on Friday, but we didn't know that she was going to be out today until the fans were sitting in their seats 100 minutes before the game? Like, I'm tired of the line. I'm tired of the gimmicks. I'm tired of the games, man. This is just a poorly ran franchise. They keep lying to the fans, trying to squeeze every dollar out of this, out of the fans that they can, especially in this economy, man. It just sends a bad message overall. I'm not surprised that they are viewing all-time lows in attendance, and I'm 100% sure it's going to continue to drop with Caitlin Clark being out on Friday. I don't know if this is going to be a road game. Valkyries do show up for their team, but if this is a home game regardless, I wouldn't be surprised if the attendance drops, man.
Now, that was Venom, right? Venom let us know that Caitlin is not playing Friday, right? Let's finish listening to this.
Would explain everything and connect all the dots. You guys are able to ask about specifics. We're certainly able to ask. They are certainly not obligated to answer.
And I probably wouldn't either.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't if I was in that position. I would just say, hey, I got whatever going on. It's my back, and I'll figure it out. Thankfully, in the WNBA, at least it's not legally allowed to hit anybody, because they're a lot less likely to tell you anything in the NFL, because if you tell them, oh, yeah, it's the right hip, they're going to try to hit you in the right hip. So a little bit different. It's still a contact sport, but overall, though, I don't think there's going to be some bigger story other than like this kind of flashpoint we're in now, which I do think is not a huge mark in the league, but it could be a turning point. It could be a crossroads for more transparency in the future. But overall, like you all mentioned, it's game 5 of 44. And for the Fever's sake, they would hope to be like, game 5 of 54 or beyond. So I'm just excited to get back to the hoops, man. And I actually thought, from a basketball standpoint, Aaliyah, Lexi, all those guys stepped up last night. Or sorry, not guys, but women stepped up last night.
That's where I wanted to go next was the.
Now, in this next part, they're going to get into the game, which we don't really care about the game. The fact of the matter is there was a situation that took place between Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. That situation was displayed on the sidelines of the Storm game the last time we seen Caitlin Clark play. This game right here, let me pull it up one more time. In closing to this, there was a situation that had went down during this game here of Caitlin Clark letting it be known that she have an issue with the Indiana Fever. Because we finna play this one more time, baby. We finna play this one more time, baby. Oh, yes, we is. The old famous exchange. This lingers in the minds of fans. This lingers in everybody's thoughts and minds. We all know what this was. We all see this tension. This was the last time we seen Caitlin Clark in uniform. I want you guys to remember this was the last time we seen Caitlin Clark in uniform. Now, let me see if I can track down Caitlin Clark ankle. Let me see if I can track this down from last year. Because we definitely finna track this down. Because we all remember Breon January last year, right? How could we forget? Because I spoke about this earlier today. When Breon January stepped on Caitlin Clark's ankle, and we all remember when Breon January, the same coach Caitlin is arguing with, told Caitlin Clark not to celebrate. Do we all remember that when she told Caitlin Clark not to celebrate when she hit a three? Y'all remember? When Caitlin Clark hit that three and Breon January had to pull Caitlin Clark away? Damn, let me find it. Hold on, guys. I'm looking. Oh, I'm hella looking. Let me see. Because Breon January has definitely been someone I could vividly admit. Hold on. Here it is. Here go another one of Breon January. So this was. Look, watch this. Watch this clip, guys. Watch this clip. Watch this clip right here. Look. Look. Now, this is from last year. Y'all see Sophie going off on Breon January? Look, this is from last year. I see Sophie. Look at Taylor shaking. Taylor shaking her head. Look. There has been tension. Look at this shit. And they try to say we tripping though. Like we're not seeing what is happening. Like we're not seeing a repeated situation involving Breonna January and Caitlin Clark. This is from last year. Oh my God, I'm trying to find that clip of her stepping on Caitlin Clark's ankle, bro. Damn, where is that? Because I know it's out here. Oh man, I'm searching the damn internet, guys. I'm finna find that clip. We finna find that clip of Breon January. She definitely been on one, bro. I am convinced Brianne January do not like Caitlin Clark. I am. You can't tell me she don't. You can't tell me Brianne January like Caitlin Clark, bro. I'm not buying it. Hell no, bro. Nope. 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 I'm not buying it, bro. Nope. Nope. I'm not buying it, bro. I'm just not buying this whole situation that everything is cool between Caitlin Clark, Breon January, and the front office. Somebody said we all saw those clips. This coaching staff needs to go. Oh yeah. And I'm looking, y'all. Hold on, because I'm finna find that damn clip. Because there's more clips. There is definitely more clips. Hold on. I truly believe there is something not right between Breon January and the Indiana Fever. Where is it at? Where is it at, man? Hold on. Is this it? Is this it? What is this? Hold on, wait. Look at this. Look at this.
Very
Look
unusual.
at her.
She's
Look
hot.
at her.
Breon
Look at her.
January having to hold her back. From three-point range. Very unusual. She's hot. Breon January having to hold her back. We'll take a timeout.
Why is it always Breon January? It's always her. Isn't it? Isn't it, guys? Chat, let me know. Stephanie White is not going to be fired as much as you all want her to be. We're trying to paint the picture. And when I find this clip, because boy, oh boy, I'm finna find this clip, bro. Of Breon January smoking Caitlin Clark ankle. Because one thing I can say, the Indiana Fever tries their damnness to scrub this internet. They scrub the internet and they try to remove all negative shit. They definitely do. We got to find that clip. Hold on, guys. Let me cook here. Let me cook because, hold on, what's this? That's the same exchange from the other day. Breon January, Caitlin Clark ankle. Let me see. Hold on. We finna find it. Let me cook. Somebody said they're trying to control Caitlin Clark, trying to take her leadership role away. They doing something, though. They doing something. And it damn sure ain't looking good. This ain't looking good at all. Where is it at? What's this? See, look, here's another clip. Hold on. Look at her. Look at her. Look at her. Caitlin don't give a damn about what's. Look at her. Look, Caitlin do not like her. Look at this. Look at this. This is from last year. This is more footage from last year. Proven. Look at this shit. Look at this. He'll be offline all week. He'll be offline all week. Oh, wait, bro. We ain't lying. We ain't lying, dog. We ain't lying, dog. Oh, hell no. You can't tell me Caitlin Clark and Breon January are best buds, bro. I'm telling you, Breon January is not invited to the cookout. I don't give a damn what nobody says. She ain't coming to the cookout at all. At all. And I'm still looking for that damn clip where she stepped on Caitlin Clark's ankle. Yeah, baby. Because she smoked her ankle. Where is the damn clip at? Where is the clip? because she stepped on Caitlin Clark's ankle and hurt Caitlin Clark. Then they tried to lie. They hella tried to lie and say Caitlin Clark's ankle got hurt in practice. We can't forget that. We ain't finna forget that. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. No, we ain't. We ain't finna forget that. They have been playing these games, and it's time for the exposers to work. Because we finna expose this. Somebody said, what is the WNBA going to do when the networks stop playing? Stop paying the money. JTL, it would be funnier than hell if Caitlin Clark would put her hand and said, talk to the hand. Hey, I'm telling you, Caitlin Clark don't like her, bro. I'm convinced. Caitlin Clark do not rock out with Brianne January. You can't sit up here and tell me she do. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. Brianne January might be the most hated coach by Caitlin out of all the coaches, bro. Out of all the coaches. I ain't lying. She might be the most hated one. I just got to be honest, man. Because at this point, this scene here that took place lets me know everything I need to know. Because we cannot forget this here. We cannot forget the JPL. You're right. Midwest. Yes. Middle got the clip. They stripped it off the internet. I think I might have made a video about it. Let me go check my archive here. Let me go check my archive and see. Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe I reported on that. I reported on when she smoked Caitlin Clark ankle. Caitlin ankle. Let me see, guys. Let me see. The video is currently unavailable. It was taken off YouTube and TikTok. Nuh-uh. It ain't none of my videos got deleted. I might have the clip. John Liquidator, Caitlin Clark ankle. Let's see if I got it. Let me check my archive. Caitlin Clark ankle. Caitlin Clark son, WFN. Hold on. Caitlin Clark coach. Let's see. I'm finna find it. Steps on Caitlin ankle. Damn it, guys. I don't think I got it. USC took an ankle. Backlash hiding Caitlin Clark. This was in August. What is this video? I need to... No, I can't find it. Oh, no. Oh, darn, man. Damn it. John. Well, the conspiracy runs deep. It definitely runs deep. Hold on, guys. I'm checking my archive of videos. Give me a quick second here. I'm in my studio looking for that video because I definitely got it. Let's see here. Show all. Let's see. That would have been in August, right? It would have been in August. Caitlin Clark has suffered. Yeah, that was in August. Possibly around the end of August. That was like towards the end of August. Let's see this. What video is this? Hold on. Oh, I got it. Oh, I got it. Oh, I think I got it. Oh, I got it, y'all. Oh, I got it. I got it like a motherfucker. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, guys. I found it. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. I found the clip. Oh, hold on. Let's pull it up. Oh, I got it. Hold on. Hold on, guys. I found it. Oh, I hella found it. So, hold on. Oh, let's go, baby. Hold on. Hold on. Let me blow this up. So this is my video. Ooh, man, I lost a lot of weight. Look, this is my video I did last year. So this was when Caitlin Clark got her ankle stepped on, right? Because y'all remember, like, we had talked about this. So let's listen to her, but she part of them people too. I'ma keep it real. You got a media pass, you one of them ones. I'm sorry, but I'ma keep it real on Rosalina. She posted this. So this, we all remember this. Watch this.
With the injury, and now got stepped on by the coach, and I think she's gonna be all right based upon.
She stepped on her ankle. Guys, we cannot. Guys, y'all see that? Y'all see that? She stepped on her damn ankle. She definitely did. She definitely did. Let's finish playing it.
On the grin on her face, but game.
Now, this was January, beyond January stepping on her foot. And if I am saying that game was on the 9th, that game was after. That game was after this footage. That game was after the FINES game. That game was after the FINES game. This was the FINES game. That, my friends, was the FINES game right there. This is when I believe she got hurt. Well after. Oh, well after that game. Guys, it is definitely, we can't trust them. They lose all trust. The Indiana Fever front office has lost my trust. I don't believe anything they're saying. I'm not rocking out with them at all. It is over with for me. Scott Agnes and them. Guys, I made this video in August. What was the exact date? August. Hold on. I'm going to tell y'all right now. I made that video August 20th, 2025. We're sitting here in May 2026. That's damn near a year ago. A year ago, nearly a year ago. We have been dealing with the buffoonery from the Indiana Fever front office. I'm telling you right now, something has to be done. Caitlin Clark is doomed. She needs to get far, far away from the Indiana Fever front office. But guys, this has been a fun, insightful, in-depth live. And yeah, man, until next time, y'all already know, man.